All right, welcome to the Fairfield Shellfish Commission, August 14th, 2021 meeting.
April 14th.
April 14th. Thank you. Present are John Short, Mike Harwood, Deb Detmer, Sean Cowan. So we have a quorum.
I'm here too, John. Lisette.
Lizette Enhofer. All right. So we have quorum for the order. Bills and communications. Approval of draft meeting minutes of March 10th, 2021. Everyone have a chance to look at the meeting minutes?
Yes.
Yep. Any changes or corrections or?
I didn't see any.
I'm impressed with the accuracy. Who keeps these notes?
I do.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Hoo-ha, Sarah. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. So does someone want to make a motion to approve those meeting minutes of March 10th, 2021?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I'll second the motion.
All right. So we got Sean making the motion, Mike seconding it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Committee reports. Clam relay and planting. I'll get right to it. Is the water's getting warmer? We'll have to do a relay. So I think we need to set that up. We'd like to approve the money to do the relay. It's been costing us $2,500 to get the boat and have harvest clams and drop them at Sasco. We normally get about 100 to 130 bushel. So everyone think that's a good idea to get that done in May?
Uh-huh.
Yep,
Yes.
very good.
Yes.
All right. So someone want to make a motion to approve $2,500 for the cost of a relay?
I'll make a motion to approve $2,500 for the bushels for the relay.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Approved. So it's Deb that made the motion and Lizette that seconded it. That should get us started off pretty well. I know some people are now clamming. They're getting a few. But if we get them down in May, that'll be a really good start. And then we can think about something probably in the summer, maybe later in July or something like that. Anything else on clam relay or planting? No? All right. We'll head over to water and habitat quality. Deb or Lizette?
Yep, well, this is Deb. The beds are open, and they've been open for 90 days, right, since January. We haven't had any closures. And it looks this afternoon or this evening, Mike sent out a Fairfield Sanitary survey. I didn't get to look through it all. Maybe he would like to speak about that regarding the reopening of the Southport Beach.
Yeah, we'll do that in the in that committee report in 3A.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Yeah, it hasn't rained over an inch, which has been pretty good. So we're open. Anything else on water and habitat quality? I got something. We did another DNA sampling. Tim had a day, and he wanted to do it, so he went out and just sampled. And so I sent the 2 sets of DNA out to the lab. So soon we'll get a response on that as to what's in the water. And then, Mike, do you want to comment on the sampling class that Alyssa's going to give?
Yeah, I
Or was
was actually going to, yeah, we could do that under Water and Habitat. It kind of goes in with the Southport Beach reopening too, from the testing that I mentioned last meeting. So she's thinking about doing it the week of May 3rd through May 6th. That seems to be the best week for the tides. The low tides on Monday would be 11:39. So we have to do, she said the optimal time is to do at least an hour and a half after high tide. And I think that some of these testings are pretty far out. So one of the requirements is that the testing be about 3 feet deep. So we're going to schedule that week. She did offer us the following week, which may be a little later in the day. But she offered us Monday through Thursday of that week. And I don't know how long it's going to take yet, but you probably will want to wear waders for it.
Yeah, I'd say we go for that week, right? Just in case we have like a rain out or something like that. And
yeah, that'd be great.
all right, so you're going to schedule that with her?
Yep, I've been in contact with her, so I just wanted to put that out there. She has her second shot done this week, if anyone's concerned, and she should be good to go by those dates.
Okay. That sounds good. Is anyone interested? We probably should, if anyone can make that hasn't done this class before, because it not only has to do with Southport, but on our regular sampling, so you can learn, what you're doing on that if we ever need help or someone needs to get out there and sample. So, Sean, was that, Deb, is there a possibility you might be able to make a midday class? Probably be about an hour.
I'm back to work full time now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the school, so I can't unless it's a day off from school.
Okay. Sean?
Oh, sorry, I had you on mute. Yes, I said I can do it.
Oh, okay. All right, so I can probably get out there too. I don't know if Tim might have done one already, but it's probably good to go back. At least we'll find out where we're supposed to be sampling, because I think it's a little different than where we sample for our reopening, right, Mike?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
One other thing, John, one other thing on that is, do we have any testing, were we ever given, the stick that they use for the sampling stick? Conservation does not have any.
Yeah, so if conservation doesn't have any, then no, we don't have any. I'm pretty sure it's basically like one of the sampling cups at the bottom of a. So it's like duct taped on or attached to the bottom of a certain length pole, like a stick, something like that. And you go down the 3 feet, so you mark off on the pole that you're holding, with a piece of tape or something, so you can dip down. But I think it's just the cup that you're actually, the same size cup that you're using for the sample. So we could probably make one up with a piece of PVC or something and a cup.
Yeah. I already told Alyssa we don't have any, so she'll probably bring some with her. And maybe we can purchase one from them, just so that we're in line with, their requirements.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty simple device, so we'll see what she has, and then if we have to buy one, but we can probably just make one up. All right. All right, you want to go over to permits and access?
Sure, I'll do it.
All right.
So today, or to this notice, we had 125 sold, 20 by mail, and 106 online.
That's pretty good. Questions to the commission. Do all the commissioners have their permits?
I do not.
That's a yes on Cowan.
Yes on Cowan.
Yes on
No on
Debbie.
Enhofer.
Yes on Detmer.
Yes.
Harwood.
I bought mine and my wife's.
Excellent. All right, so there's a no on Short and a no on Enhofer.
Oh,
I might have it. Who knows? I probably have it.
Slackers.
I probably bought it and forgot, So, yeah.
No, we didn't get any oysters. It's the whole oyster season. It's like unheard of.
Did you guys know it's really easy to get them? You can get them online now?
I didn't know that.
Later.
Yeah, when we get to communications, we need to talk about that. All right, so we're selling permits, which is good. And during communications, we want to talk about how we're going to sell more permits. But I think 126 is not too bad. I think a lot of people are really busy, with things reopening and that. And, but once the heat hits, like it's been the last couple weekends, people are going to want to get out there and dig some clams. And coupled with a relay, we'll be able to sell some more. So access-wise, there's full access to Sasco Beach right now. So that's good, too.
What about, just out of curiosity, because I saw it last weekend, over at Ash Creek on the Bridgeport side, are they allowed to dig there? Because we saw 2 or 3 people digging there last weekend.
Yeah, they're not. It's prohibited. We can't stop them from digging there.
Bridgeport side.
Yeah. There's a possibility. So people are going to start fishing, and it is blackfish season. So there's a possibility that they're digging for worms and stuff like that. I mean, if they're digging for clams, that's their choice.
Yeah.
But they're probably the river's prohibited. So.
Yes, I thought. I mean, they had clamming rakes and big buckets. I don't know. They look like they're clamming. But you never know.
They could be digging for worms.
We were curious.
Hopefully they're digging for worms. But eat your clams in Fairfield.
Yeah. That's not where I want to eat clams out of, that's for sure.
All right. So we're going to go to 3A, which is Southport Beach reopening, and I know Mike has a lot on that. I'm not sure if Sean has anything, but go to it, Mike.
So, there's not too much new from the last report, but that sanitary survey is actually, it's a little overwhelming when you see it's 172 pages, but I read about an hour of it, got almost halfway through it, and it's an eye-opener. It really is very intensive what they did, and there's a lot of information in there. I think it's it's almost like a handbook for us to see what's going on, all the different discharges. It really is very comprehensive, and even if you take a look at it, the maps are very detailed. It's just an eye-opener of everything that's out there and how it affects shellfishing in every area from the Ash Creek to Southport Harbor, Mill River. There's creeks that I'm learning the names of. It really is. Definitely take a look at it. It's great. Even if you just go through the maps, I think it really, really helps you and gives you a clear view of what's out there and what actually has an effect on the shellfishing beds.
So as we
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, as we go along with you have that lined up, and then you're going to start your sampling. We have a little bit of DNA information. I mean, if we can put this all together correctly and get the good numbers on our samples, we're on our way.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And I think when we have our testing with Alyssa, we'll have her undivided attention to see really what we have to do, what to look out for. But I think it's pretty. They're going to be very helpful, and I think it's really something that looked like it was a little too much for us to take on. But I think this is something that within a year that we can really achieve.
Yeah, I think doing the 15 different samples is probably going to take at least a year. So as those samples come in, I mean, we can also look into if we do have a bad sample, is to compare it to some of her other data from the past, and try to figure out, with agriculture, aquaculture, as to what's going on at that time of year or something like that. And I think the data kind of stopped after a while, but she does have plenty of old data on sampling that has gone on in the area.
Yeah, I mean, even in that report, it shows some highlighted areas, and they put it in different categories on where to look out for, and it covers everything. Marinas. They walked people's properties. They found somebody in 2016's septic tank on 145 Southgate Lane. The remedies they did on it, it's very impressive, this whole survey.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time doing all that walking.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the Southport?
No, I think we'll have more on the next meeting after the sampling, and I'll keep everyone abreast of the dates that we can do it and try and get buy-in. And we should we'll firm that up, and we'll have more for next meeting.
Yeah, great. Okay, so commercial shellfish regulations. I'm not on that committee anymore, so I'll give it to anyone that wants to say no report. Sean or Mike?
No report.
Excellent. All right, oyster bed development. So we're still collecting shell, and we have plenty of shell. Soon we need to probably set up a work party down at the conservation workshop to go over all of our materials and get all of our spat collectors together. They're kind of strewn about with the construction going on down there, and maybe just clean up our area so we know what we have, what we may need to get, such as rope or mesh. We have plenty of spat collectors, but some of them may need to be thrown out or fixed. I know that we should have plenty of rebar. We'll decide if we need to get more or not. But coming up, we should probably, if everyone can get together for maybe an hour and just go over our oyster bed development and spat collecting supplies. I got to figure out a good weekend or a good time, even if it was at like 6:30 to 7:30 or something in the evening, when everyone could just meet. It doesn't have to be everyone, but a few of us, just to see what we got. We still have some spat on shell, I think, hanging down at the yacht yard. That probably should get put somewhere. And our oysters are all hanging in South Benson, which we're not going to touch right now. Anything else on commercial or oyster bed development?
The only thing I would add on that, John, is just to be careful on access to our locker down there. I know that they're just moving construction equipment around. Sometimes we might not have access to that.
Yeah, coordinate with Tom Course and get the info on that when we can get in and out of there. He's a good source for that. All right, so we're good on oyster. So on oyster bed development also, we're getting close to work season with that, which the conservation usually helps us with bagging the shell that we put in the yacht yard. They'll probably get that together in early June. And then also in June is getting the collectors coated with the cement and then getting them in, which is usually the last week of June. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. But we have a pretty good system to getting it in and all that. Try to coordinate with conservation to see if they can help us out a little more this year, possibly with getting some shell in the water before spawning season. Try to get some of our beds juiced up a little. All right, communications. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Well, I can start. I know Sean's got a lot to talk about. He did a really great job on communicating to put on Facebook and things. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to work on my newsletter. My mom passed away in February, so I'm a little bit behind on the times.
Sorry to hear that. That's fine. All right. So,
but
Sean, you want to?
Working on it, so he definitely.
That's
okay. We'll work on that, and I can pick up on that, Deb. Absolutely. So by the next time, why don't we shift that over to me?
All righty.
So, John, thanks for the access on the Facebook page. Who has? I'm a follower of the Instagram account, but who's got the access to that?
So, I don't know anything. I don't really use Instagram. I know it's sort of part of Facebook. So, Allison, the previous commissioner, I could get in touch with her and find out how to access that and become the admin on that, or maybe it's the same if you're an admin on our other page. I'm not sure. So I'll find out from Allison how to do that. You know how to do. You can do Instagram, right, Sean?
I can do all that stuff. I just need the login credentials is all.
Okay. So I'll find that information out.
Yeah. Perfect.
Right.
Deb and I connected on the email to drive new permits, and we're in agreement on that. My question is, do we send it or does Conservation send it? And in either case, have we done anything other than straight text emails? Have we done a HTML markup type thing where we have some of the pictures from previous clam clinics and we've got words over it? Can sometimes be more impactful when people open an email than just like words on the page. Are we limited in our email server and what can be sent? Do we know, or maybe I should dig deeper and find that out? But I guess my question to you guys is, who's doing the physical sending of these emails?
So the physical sending will be the Conservation Department because they have the lists. So I'm not sure. Deb, did you find out if we can access that and send out the emails? I think it may have to be done by Conservation. So you may have to just send it to Joanne, and she would put it out. I'd assume that an email with pictures in that would also work. I don't see why it would just be text.
Well, what I mean is, rather than having pictures attached at the bottom, where somebody, when they open it up, the actual backdrop, the background of the email is the picture, and then the words are over it to maybe make it a little bit more impactful. But why don't I follow up with them then, and we can get this out quickly.
Real quick. Sarah, do you know anything?
I'm not sure how those emails go out, if they would go out through a Q alert or not, but if they go out through the Q alert, then you would just have whatever you want to send. So it could kind of be like a PDF of what you want to send even. So you can type it up however you want it with the pictures. I think that's how it would be able to go.
Got it. So if I put it onto a PDF, they could make the PDF just the email, and then boom, that goes out.
I think that's how they could do it, because that's how they send agendas out to people, would be, just a link to the PDF.
Well,
I'm not sure if there's another way with the email to do it, but worst case, it can be that way.
Okay. Then I'll follow up on them. And again, Deb and I have agreed that the email, as we discussed in the last meeting, which points to the different ways that people can get permits. It's online. It's in person. They can print it out and they can send it in. That we've laid that out. So as long as you guys don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of that, we'll get that out in the next week or so.
All right. And when you get it out, and then so this is prime time to sell permits and get people out clamming. Did not just send it once, but then maybe like the next week, or time it for like before the next weekend or something like that.
Well, we can do it a couple of times. We can keep the message consistent in just permit sales. The other thing we can do is push it out on Instagram and on Facebook. The thing that I would like to address is, so the item I chased down last month, which is a big disappointment, I think, for for any of us who love oysters is Hummock is actually pulling back on the program that we discussed last time, which has been so popular in the last few years. And they don't know if they're going to do any of what we discussed, meaning tickets for 2, tickets for 4, whatever it might be, to go out there and spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on the island and eat oysters and BYOB. They have taken down the ticket sales off Facebook and off their website. They're rethinking how much time they want to put into their business versus the sort of tourist, let's call it oyster tourist element of this. So that's not a great option anymore. What I'd like to replace it with is I'm calling it, or Deb and I are calling it Lobster and Oyster Palooza, which is, can we work with Bloom? Can we find somebody as Memorial Day approaches and get, let's call it, a good size delivery that the Shellfish Commission can drop off at somebody's Memorial Day party, or maybe your friend is having a party and you say where you want it to go, and we're rewarding one lucky or maybe 2 lucky, whatever you guys think, group with a nice drop-off in the middle of the weekend when it makes sense for them. And I'll certainly handle the drop-off. But I think we're shifting from Hummock and Westport to maybe can we work a connection to get more of a deliverable to somebody's residence.
Yeah. So I think me and Mike want to go meet and talk with Norm Bloom anyway about some things, so maybe we can talk to him about that also. So another thing you can use to promote is that we're going to be doing a relay, which is a certain number of bushels, but then if you multiply 120 by an average of 270 clams per bushel, it comes out to 36,000 or 39,000. And if you start using numbers like that, like in May, we're going to be doing a relay, which we're putting out approximately 40,000 clams.
Yep.
That should draw people to the permit office also.
I have some
agreed.
images.
Go ahead.
I have some images from the last clinic that we did, and I can send those over to Sean if he wants to add them into things.
Okay.
Now, I look at this.
Idea. Go ahead.
I look at this like gym memberships. I go to Equinox, and I know that the people that I see there every day are a fraction of the people that signed up. So I know that you guys have done an amazing job of getting the people who are actually interested in clamming to get permits. But maybe we can get the people that never show up at the gym if they think we're going to drop them off a ton of stuff at their house on Memorial Day. It's not a bad gamble in a town like this.
Right. Yeah, we could use that. So I got another idea. You guys have to agree to this. And we'd have to use our communications, our Facebook and email. Since we're not going to have a clinic this year, we just can't do it. We can't do it in a safe manner. So I was thinking, it's like we all go clamming, and maybe in the next couple months when it's warmer, that if we know like maybe we're going to go clamming on a Sunday or something, that it could be posted on Facebook, like come meet Commissioner Harwood or Commissioner Cowan or Commissioner Enhofer or Detmer, and just we say, listen, this commissioner's going to be on the beds at low tide at 2:00. Get your permit and come down and meet Mike or Sean or Lizette or John and learn some tips on clamming, something like that. Like not as a clinic, but just as like a way to meet people and say hello and entice them to come down because they probably think we actually know how to clam.
Can we dress Mike up in a peg leg with a patch over his eye?
Mike will do one.
I'd do that.
I think I can triple attendance if you can promise that.
So do you guys think that might attract some people, or like a family might say, oh, the chairman or the commissioner's going to be down there, and let's get our permit to go down so we can see how he does it or something, or how she does it. And whenever I'm talking to people like that and showing them how to clam, I always throw a few clams in their basket for them, So maybe we could do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that idea.
All right.
So do I.
So
it's a good stand-in for lack of a clinic.
Yeah. So if someone's going to be down and wants to, put in an hour or an hour and a half, and the worst thing that can happen is, say they, John's going to be down at the bed on Saturday from 2 to 4 clamming, and then no one shows up, and then my ego's like, destroyed or whatever. It's, everything's burst. That's the worst thing.
We have to wear something that, one of our red clamming shirts, like.
Yeah, you throw on your Shellfish Commission hat and your red shirt, and say, look for Deb. She's going to be, in her Fairfield Shellfish Commission gear.
Yeah. I think we do have to
maybe
do something.
Throw a few stickers in your pocket to give to them or something like that. People that come up and say hello.
I think you do have to say something about social distancing and, something so people are cognizant that we're following the COVID rules too, don't you think?
Sure. Of course. And you can put a little, we'll be following social distancing guidelines.
Yep.
I
like it.
Carry with you and all that kind of stuff. Gloves, whatever. All right.
Okay, so from a communication standpoint, I want to be able to plan those dates then. So should we if people want to, do we want to put a limit on how many times this is? Well, why don't we just make it if we can get a few volunteers, I'll do it one day. If we get another 2-3 volunteers, we'll each pick a day, we'll pick low tide when we can make it, and then I can at least plan the sends to correspond with when people are able to do that. Can anybody who's willing to volunteer reach out to me?
Sure. So we'll look at the tides and we'll all reach out and let you know. Yep. Anyone that's interested. This is not
first come, first serve on the tides.
Well, would you do it after our relay in May? It would make sense, right?
I'm not going clamming until after the relay.
Are we talking water testing now again? Is that for the water testing call?
No, we're talking about meet the commissioners at the at Sasco Beach to learn how to clam.
Like just a notification that a commissioner will be down there and, come say hello, get your permit, and learn a few tricks. Stop by and say hi or whatever. You may draw some people in.
So maybe more like early June then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when the water warms up a little bit. But, by Memorial Day, people are going to be itching to get out there and clam. And, maybe I'll do one where I dig some steamers or something like that. Like maybe the third week in May or something. So anyone that wants to do that will reach out to Sean. Everyone should have his email. It should be in our email list. And, pick a tide. If there's 2 people that go, there's 2 people that go that weekend. It's fine.
Hey,
all right,
maybe...
Go ahead.
Listen, these 2 great ideas. Sean's trying to promote the permits, and then, John, your idea is great, too. Why don't we have maybe 3 prizes of mini clinics for new permit holders where you have, a Shellfish Commissioner will come down, supply the equipment. We have plenty of rakes, and we'll give you an hour, mini clinic for you and 3 of your friends.
A group of 4, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and we have 3 of them. I mean, it costs us nothing, right, except some of our time.
Yep, and that way we can control the distancing and, know that the rake is sanitized and all that stuff.
Yeah, and we do it on top of what you said, too. I think, we can do both of these things.
Yeah, even if anyone's just clamming at any time during the week, or it can be, we could put it out there that so-and-so is going to be at the beach. We could be like, kind of like little clamming celebrities. No?
Sounds like a magazine cover somewhere, John.
It's coming. Don't worry.
I do have a follow-up question to clarify on Sean's request for clams from Norm Bloom. I know it would be presumptuous to say that he would donate them, but is it possible we could buy them for our prizes?
It is possible. So we definitely like to go for the donation aspect first, and then to buy them, we'd have to discuss how much we were going to spend to prove that kind of money. When we buy something, we have to go by the return on, I guess, investment and say, if we spend $200, are we going to sell, do we think it'll sell 10 permits? So let's shoot for a donation. I'm sure we can get a donation somewhere.
Okay.
And it helps their business on top of our permit sales.
Well, I'm sure he would get recognized as being the donator of the clams, but Sean, I'm still a little fuzzy on the timing for this, for when you want to put this, I guess, contest out.
I'd like to have it out. I mean, I think if we're going to, I think Memorial Day seems to be the right time to award the prize, and so we could make it between now and a month from now, which leaves you a couple of weeks before, and then we've got a couple of weeks to do the drawing of the new permit holders. So I think 30 days from now till just before Memorial Day would be fine. I think we can drive a nice number. The other thing I think that I'd like to say is there needs to be an ROI taken into consideration. But I think what we're not factoring in is if you're at a Memorial Day party and there's a limited number, let's call it maybe 20, 30 people. Connecticut has increased the numbers that you can have outdoors these days, and I know people are looking to do that. And all of a sudden, a bounty of shellfish arrive, and people start saying, we got this from the Shellfish Commission, and people are like, what's that? I don't even know what that is. And then someone says, yeah, there's shellfishing in Fairfield. You can get rakes. You can do this stuff. You can get them with your kids. There's an uncounted exposure, I think, that we can get through a cool, buzzworthy drop-off that I do think it'll yield the extra 10, let's say, this year, but I think there's a halo effect that we can get going forward where people who otherwise had no idea what we're even talking about here get exposed to it, and whether they run out and get it themselves or they tell somebody at the next cocktail party, I think we've got plenty of room to go with buzz from doing good things.
Yeah, maybe when you guys could put together a little overview of our program, how many clams we put in, what we're doing with oysters, all that kind of thing that gets delivered with that
100%.
package.
That's a great idea. So they're eating them, and then they're looking at this being like, I didn't know our town did this.
And then maybe a couple of kids' T-shirts or something in there.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so we're good on those few things. What else do you got with communications?
Oh, that's it for
Think
me.
we're over to flag with Deb.
Oh, yes, the flag. Well, I didn't know. I can certainly order the flag. We talked about it, and it was approved months ago, but I think we just need to move forward and get the flag and the hardware and put it on the boat.
Okay. So can you take care of that, Deb, or?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take care of the purchasing of the flag, and I think Sean's going to hopefully handle the hardware, because that's where I'm stumbling on.
So are you guys going to pay for that out of your pocket and then get reimbursed from the town?
Yes, I'm going to put it on my charge card.
Okay. So anything you do like that, make sure you keep your receipts, and then you submit them to Joanne, and you'll receive a check usually in a couple of weeks. If you're okay with doing that, that's fine. If you're not okay with that, the town has, a credit card we could use, or they can issue a check.
Yeah, and plus I thought we would get a American flag as well, so we would have the Shellfish flag and the American flag.
Yep.
Okay.
Sound good?
So one Shellfish Commission flag and one American flag.
Correct.
Okay. All right, and then on communications, when the beds close, I usually send out that Facebook message, and the town will send out an email from me that says that the beds are closed, and also when they reopen, I usually send out that Facebook, and the town will send out the email on that. So you guys don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
And then I hand the sign. since we're on communications and it's a way of communicating, we did approve money for a folding sign to put down at Sasco. Do you remember that, Mike?
Yes, I do.
Do we still want to do that?
I don't see why not. I mean, there was a lot of miscommunication with the sign, and I think it's just be good for people coming in so they know very clearly that it's stated that it's closed or open.
All right. So, if you have the time and want to get that taken care of, or if you want to give me the info and let me take care of it, either way, we should probably get that because there was definitely some miscommunication with that sign down there.
Yeah. So Minuteman Press is where we wanted to go, right? I think that's where I got the original quote from. Anyway.
I have a good relationship with them, so they'll do it right.
Okay.
All right. Is that it on communications?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Juan, you got any more?
No, that's it.
Okay.
All right, so you guys are going to get your emails out. I'll see them in a week or so. Hitting the.
Yes, but we need to confirm the bloom. We need to confirm the pricing for the permit sign up. When are you guys meeting with?
What about the email that we definitely got to get an email and a Facebook out there about where and how to get the permits, and then before that, just so everyone knows where they can get them and how they can get them.
But that's already written. The question is whether or not we want to incentivize for them to go do so at that moment.
I'd like to
incentivize. We can send something out.
Yeah, just get something out there, and then we'll get the other thing together with Bloom and that, and then we'll pump that out there too. All right?
Okay.
If that's okay.
Sure. I guess I look at it as maybe I should say, I'd hate for somebody to sign up on day one, and then they say, well,
that won't be
participate in this permit.
I think that anyone that has bought a permit, other than the commissioner, should be involved in the.
All right. So anybody who signed up it's not just from here forward. That sounds fair.
Yeah. No, it's got to be everyone because.
That's fine. Then to your point, we don't have to hold off at all. We can basically say just get your permit now, and then you're automatically entered.
Yeah. So, but definitely get the one out there about how to get the permit, so that people can.
We'll get that out in the next few days.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's getting warm. I mean, it's going to rain for a couple of days now, so we may get closed. Who knows? We might get closed tomorrow. It's supposed to rain all day, but. I mean, we've had a couple good weekends, I think. I'm sure people went out there, but they're definitely going to start going out more once they feel that the water's warm enough to walk in. So, all right. You can handle all that. You need to do. All right, so we'll go to Downwellers because Mike's probably got a lot to talk about.
Well, I got great news. As of St. Patty's Day, March 17th, we got our boxes. So if anyone wants to take a look at them, there's 6 boxes. They're on top of each other, so you can't miss them. Big blue as you come into the conservation. They were delivered, and they're all wrapped there, ready to go. So the next thing for us to do is we're already in motion with the Department of Public Works. They've reached out to Yankee Electric in order to see what they need to do for the electric. The Yankee Electric thinks that they can actually pull through the existing conduit and not build or not dig a new trench, which would be great. Save us some money there. They also have the next 2 weeks we're going to have a gravel bed put in, and that should be done by the May 1st deadline. From there, we're going to have to, we have to get together within ourselves too to prep the boxes, prepare them for where the holes need to be, the PVC, the pumps, the hoses, and we also have to create or get those baskets for the inside that hold the actual seed. From there, The next step would be seed, ordering seed. Now, we were going to go through no aquaculture, and they actually use Bloom. I don't know how much they use the Bloom for an oyster nursery, but they also have seed out in Southold, New York. Now, in order for us to get that, we have to have a pathology report. Now, the hatchery supplies that, and they're not going to get it until early May. So we can't order anything anyway. And I think that we start ordering towards the end of May with the seed anyway. And that's it right now. I mean, we got the steps going. I'll have more information on the electric, and once that's done, we're ready to go. We're ready to roll.
Okay, so there's one thing that hasn't come yet, which is our certificate of permission. We just got our okay from the Army Corps of Engineers a week ago, and we're just waiting on the CLP. So we can do it. We can build it all and all that and get ready, but we can't actually put the pipe in the water until we have the CLP. So hopefully we get that in the next month. One question about the boxes, Mike, is did they put our logo on it by any chance?
So they do that in India. So we would have had to order it, way ahead of time. So we don't have any of the logos on there. I mean, we can easily do it ourselves. Maybe we get some decals.
So that's what I was going to say. Maybe, if we have the PD or the file on our Shellfish Commission logo, or if we want to make a new one for this and name the project or something, we'll go to Minuteman and have them make some decals to put on those boxes to make it look nice.
Okay.
All right. So the CLP is the last thing I'm waiting for. As for the pump, I sent you a pump I was looking at. I don't know if you looked that over or not, if you thought it was okay. There's many different pumps and many different prices. I feel that we shouldn't go with the cheapest pump, and we definitely need something that's going to last. I think that we should also have a spare pump in case something happens to that one. So the one I looked at was, about $300?
I'm not sure. Yeah, when I looked at the detail on that, I only used the information there to
for the voltage.
Get a record. Yeah, I spoke with an electrician, and they confirmed what we needed, and I passed that on to DPW.
Okay. All right. Before they actually lay these wires in, we definitely want to make sure that that's the pump we want and all that.
Yep.
All right. So, Mike, do you want to, and anyone else that wants to or can, but you want to go see, it's supposed to rain. Tomorrow I'm going to be busy all day. I'm not sure about Friday. But the best time to see Norm Bloom is when it rains because he won't be on a boat. Are you available Friday at all?
I'm not. We're actually going away tomorrow.
All right. So we'll cancel out for this week. But in the next 10 days, do you want to go, and if anyone else wants to come down, meet with Norm Bloom? I think if we're going to be asking for a donation that we don't want to overwhelm him, probably one or two people, just go see him, look at his system down there, talk about the seed, and possibly ask, tell him what we're doing and how we're trying to sell permits and that, and see what he says about, the donation for the raffle. So my feeling is probably, I know Norm Bloom, so I definitely would go, and then one other person. I think that would be it. I think if we went with too many, it's sort of intimidating in that. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. What do you think? All right. So we'll pick a day. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you, John. I think you need to really build a relationship, and he needs to understand what we're doing first before we kind of overwhelm him. And then he can point us in the direction of that. What was that guy's name? Don Reynolds or Don Bell?
Don Bell. Yep.
Yeah. Maybe he can just put it over to him where he'll set a tour for all of us, because I think it would be great for us to see what they got going and the extent of their operation.
So the Blooms, Jimmy Bloom and Norm Bloom, they're really good people, nice people and all that. Don Bell is also like a nice guy, and I say this as they're not miserable. They're good. They seem to be good people. So some people that work on the water can not be happy people. So it'd be nice to meet them, and yeah, we could tour the operation and that, and talk about, and then get into the seed of what we're, tell them what we're doing, and talk about the seed, and then we can work in the other part, maybe at that time or another time. But yeah, we'll build a relationship up. I went to school. I grew up with Don Bell's daughter, so I know them also. All right, so where are we at? Downwellers. Anything else in the downwellers? When that comes together, we'll obviously have to have conservation or public works help us with getting the actual boxes down there, setting them in place. Once they're set in place, then there'll be a lot of PVC work. It's not like a group. We don't need to have everyone there to do that kind of work. I mean, I have plenty of tools to do the PVC work, and it can be done, connect the boxes together one day, come down another day, set the pump in place, connect that in, and then the last thing we will be doing would be to set our hose in place with our buoy and mushroom and all that kind of thing. I was at Tractor Supply, and they have the hose there, the intake hose for pumps. So that they make the actual 2-inch hose that we need to lay down in the water, and they have the end piece on it that has the mesh so that eels can't get sucked up and crabs and stuff like that. So we're in pretty good shape. I think that once those boxes are set in place, we got a few days of work of putting it together, giving it a test run. Once the COP comes in, we can get going. The COP will come. It's not like we're not going to get it. We may, we don't want to start without all of our permits, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe if we don't have it, we might be able to get permission to start up until we get it. But we'll see if that even needs to come into play. All right, anything else on downwellers?
I just don't want to forget to say a thank you to Conservation Department. Ed Jones and Tom Corse were great. It sounds easy that it was just delivered, but it wasn't. They made sure that we had a forklift there, and they had everything. And I showed up there. It was supposed to be delivery at 9 o'clock. I showed up there at 8:45, and they were already there all and piled up where they're supposed to be. So they did a great job, the whole Conservation Department, and I just want to recognize them.
Great. And on the baskets that we're putting inside, just to let everyone know, we're going to try to get a bunch of those donated also from they're just going to tell shell fishermen what we're doing, such as G&B and Bloom and maybe Chuck Vanes. They may have some of these old totes that they don't use that they might be willing to give us and save us some money on this project. We can also talk to Bureau of Aquaculture and see if they might know of any shell fishermen that might want to get rid of some totes. So we talked about that, right, Mike?
Yeah, and just to put a monetary value on that, I looked at some of the totes that they had at Hadco, and the cost was over $900. So going this route, I mean, we could save, $900 just so that everyone knows that we're trying to pinch our pennies here when we can.
And just to put it into perspective, we need 72 of these things?
I think that was the right math.
Something like that?
Yeah, it was quite a bit, yeah.
So I'll start working on that with these totes. I have some, but we're talking like 6. So we'll really have to do some work on getting those. All right. All right, that's it for downwellers for today. Reports from Conservation Department. We have $29,742.70 in our shellfish fund balance, which is pretty good, even after spending some money. Obviously, we have 126 permits. We're open 90 days. Budget was approved. I think the town budget was approved, so I didn't hear anything about our
budget. It's going before
budget.
the RTM now.
It's going before the RTM. There were no questions on our budget that I know of.
No,
so.
nothing yet, but I think the RTM votes at the end of May.
Okay. New business. So I got an email from Dave Carey, and he asked if I'd be willing to help out with helping some UConn students. So let me find this email. I'll just give you the gist of. Here it is. All right, so working with the UConn students developing shell recycle plan. They want to see your Ash Creek setup and likely will be all in for a tour. So they have an idea of equipment and supplies, wondering if you could write up details of our work with restaurants in a bullet form. How many restaurants, how often picked up per week, number of containers dropped, how bad is the odor in sealed containers, do you try any treatments, cleaning, time-wise, equipment. So I was figuring Tim's been doing all that, so I'll probably ask Tim to help me with that, unless someone else wants to jump in on it. Okay, so it's Tim. All right. Any other new business?
Oh, I do have one thing as a follow-up. I asked Betsy Brown if there was going to be a Memorial Day parade. I'm just waiting a response.
Okay, I haven't heard anything. Has anyone heard anything about a parade this year?
Mm-mm.
I know with softball, we haven't heard anything either at the softball commission. Usually we would have heard and stuff by now.
Okay.
There was an article in the
I
Post
haven't
saying
heard the
that there
official
were.
word, but I wouldn't count on it.
Okay, so someone would count on it, and then there was an article in the Post regarding
Saying that there was a bunch of towns that were going to have Memorial Day parades.
All right, so I know that the Dogwood Festival was canceled. We're not going to have a clam clinic. I'd have to say that they're probably going to pass the parade, but who knows? So we've already agreed that if they have a parade, we'll be in it. If there's not, there's not. Right?
Yep.
I know that the softball commission reached out because we usually do a big opening day. And we were told if we did our opening day, we'd have to follow the, no more than 200 people, 6-foot social distancing. So I would have to assume they wouldn't be able to hold a parade when you have those kind of restrictions still.
Right. The number of people vaccinated, it's still below 30%, and there's no control over a gathering like that. So I'd say they're going to cancel it. We'll have our little Memorial Day thing going on anyway with our giveaway, so that'll be good. And we can still put the flags on the boat, and if you can get them together by then, Deb, we can still put the flags on the boat and take a picture of that and post it for a Memorial Day kind of,
That'd be nice, sure.
Post. You guys could put together a nice post for Memorial Day and put a picture of our boat, maybe a couple commissioners, pretending to drive it.
When is the boat going to go in the water? Maybe, I don't know if we can get the flag and the hardware to install it before it goes in the water.
Yeah, I'll contact Tom Course and ask him when he normally puts it in. So they've been doing a lot of testing for, does anyone remember what they were testing? They were doing testing for another program, and they were using the boat. But I'm not sure what's going on with that now that we don't have a conservation director. So we don't really need the boat in the water yet. so it may not go in probably till at least later May, I'd say. But if we're always in the parade, it doesn't go in until after the parade anyway, right? So probably early June.
Okay, so we should be able to get the flag, and I'll work with Sean to find out where we can get the hardware.
I'm guessing the Blessing of the Fleet, do you guys participate in that? I'm guessing that's probably going to be canceled too?
We don't participate in it because it's usually it's fallen on the same day as the clam clinic before. So we've never participated in it, and I have no idea if they're going to have that or not.
I'll look into it. I normally get something in the mail that says that it's happening, but I haven't seen anything yet, so I'll look for it. I'll contact some folks.
Any informational? Anyone got any information they want to put out there? No? I was contacted by the state to put together a letter and volunteer to help the state get together a statewide shell collection program. So they're applying for a grant, and they gave me a letter. I just signed it, and then it was put in for the grant, and so the state may put together a statewide shell collection program, and Fairfield was the first town in the state to start collecting shells. So we started something pretty good. All right. Anything else? We're good?
I'm good.
All right. Tim called in. I have to get in touch with Todd because I'm not sure if he was present for last meeting. He's not at this meeting. No one really talks to Todd, do they?
I don't.
Okay. He was at the last meeting.
He was at the last meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he just missed this one. That's fine. All right. I wasn't sure. I was going to say if anyone talks to him, tell him. But I'll probably talk to Tim and have him talk to him. All right.
I wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
Oh, before we adjourn, is the Southport Yacht Club going to have their opening day soiree this year?
So they didn't have it last year, which was the 100th anniversary or something like that. And I have not received a letter this year, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Deb, are you buying a spot at the commission?
Say again?
Are you putting in your notice that you want to
go? I am putting in my my.
So normally it's on the third, like May 18th, that area, May 20th, and I have not received a letter, an invite.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if they're having it. Any outside non-members. So I'll contact Joanne and see if she receives it. Joanne sends me the letter, and we have not got anything. So.
Okay.
All right. Does someone want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, you can. I'll second it.
All right, Lizette makes a motion. Deb seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
All righty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.